July 27. Dear Sir Makar Alexievich, your latest doings and letters have frightened, shocked, and amazed me, and what Fedora tells me has explained it all. But what reason had you to be so desperate and to sink to such a depth as you have sunk to, Makar Alexievich? Your explanation has not satisfied me at all. Isn't it clear that I was right in trying to insist on taking the situation that was offered me? Besides, my latest adventure has thoroughly frightened me. You say that it's your love for me that makes you keep in hiding from me. I saw that I was deeply indebted to you while you persuaded me that you were only spending your savings on me, which you said you had lying by in the bank in case of need. Now, when I learned that you had no such money at all, but, hearing by chance of my straitened position and touched by it, you actually spent your salary getting it in advance, and even sold your clothes when I was ill, now that I have discovered all this, I am put in such an agonizing position that I still don't know how to take it and what to think about it. Oh, Makar Alexievich, you ought to have confined yourself to that first kind help, inspired by sympathy and the feeling of kinship, and not have wasted money afterwards on luxuries. You have been false to our friendship, Makar Alexievich, for you weren't open with me. And now, when I see that you were spending your last penny on finery, on sweetmeats, on excursions, on the theatre, and on books, now I am paying dearly for all that in regret for my frivolity, for I took it all from you without troubling myself about you, and everything with which you tried to give me pleasure is now turned to grief for me, and has left nothing but useless regret. I have noticed your depression of late, and although I was nervously apprehensive of some trouble, what has happened never entered my head. What? Could you lose heart so completely, Makar Alexievich? Why, what am I to think of you now? What will everyone who knows you say of you now? You, whom I always respected for your good heart, your discretion, and your good sense. You have suddenly given way to such a revolting vice, of which one saw no sign in you before. What were my feelings when Fedora told me you were found in the street in a state of inebriety, and were brought home to your lodgings by the police? I was petrified with amazement, though I did expect something extraordinary, as there had been no sign of you for 4 days. Have you thought, Makar Alexievich, what your chiefs at the office will say when they learn the true cause of your absence? You say that everyone laughs at you, that they all know of our friendship, and that your neighbors speak of me in their jokes too. Don't pay any attention to that, Makar Alexievich, and for goodness' sake calm yourself. I am alarmed about your affair with those officers too. I have heard a vague account of it. Do explain what it all means. You write that you were afraid to tell me, that you were afraid to lose my affection by your confession, that you were in despair, not knowing how to help me in my illness, that you sold everything to keep me and prevent my going to hospital, that you got into debt as far as you possibly could, and have unpleasant scenes every day with your landlady. But you made a mistake in concealing all this from me. Now I know it all, however. You were reluctant to make me realize that I was the cause of your unhappy position, and now you have caused me twice as much grief by your behavior. All this has shocked me, Makar Alexievich. Oh, my dear friend, misfortune is an infectious disease. The poor and unfortunate ought to avoid one another, for fear of making each other worse. I have brought you trouble such as you knew nothing of in your old, humble, and solitary existence. All this is distressing and killing me. Write me now openly all that happened to you, and how you came to behave like that. Set my mind at rest if possible. It isn't selfishness makes me write to you about my peace of mind, but my affection and love for you, which nothing will ever efface from my heart. Good-bye. I await your answer with impatience. You had a very poor idea of me, Makar Alexievitch. Your loving Varvara de Brosolov.